When I was little, something so strange happened to me that I still can't understand to this day. I had what I think was a dream. The reason I say that is because I can't remember if it was a dream. In my head, it's just a memory, but I know that this couldn't have possibly happened, so it had to have been a dream. That I was in my grandparents' house, and I had walked out into their front room to find my grandma. And her back was away from me. She was facing the door, and she was looking out the screen door. And I asked her something, and she turned around, and it was my grandma, but she had red eyes. And she was smiling at me, and I freaked out, and I turned around to go tell my family members, and she had been walking behind me and just saying, no one's ever going to believe you, no one will believe you. And I could see her as I walked past a mirror in the house, just kind of right behind me, staring at me, smiling with red eyes. And I knew, obviously, this wasn't my grandma. Looked just like my grandma, but it wasn't her. And I remember going back into the family room and telling my family and seeing my real grandma in there and saying, there's a woman out there and she's pretending to be you, and I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. And all my family went out to the front room, and there was nobody there, obviously. But then I remember it cut to a different memory of, it was the same day, we were all in the house sitting around the table for a birthday or something like that. And I was facing this mirror, and I could see her reflection in the mirror standing behind me, this fake grandma, while my real grandma was sat right beside me at this table. It's so weird. I don't have an explanation for it. I know it had to have been a dream, because obviously that didn't happen, and none of my family remembers it. I even remember asking my mom about it one time. She was like, that didn't happen. And it was, but it's very strange to me that I can't remember it as being a dream. I just remember this incident as a memory.
A lot of you are really loving the Glitch in the Matrix stories, and I got another one for you. So this woman named Andrea says that something really strange is happening around her town, and her family are the only ones who seem to notice. The first thing they started noticing were duplicates. They would see someone somewhere only for them to inexplicably turn up somewhere else. For example, her and her mother ran into an old friend at the grocery store, and they stood there chatting with them for a while. But later, when they got home that night, they saw on Facebook that that old friend was actually out of the country on vacation, and she had been for days. They even reached out to her, and she has no recollection of speaking to them at the grocery store. She also says that she's taken duplicate phone calls where she would take a call that had already happened with this person, and they have no recollection that that conversation already had happened. And then she says the scariest thing have been the deaths. She says there have been 4 deaths in their community of very well-known and influential people, and every one of them have died twice. First, they find out about their passing. They see all the rest in peace posts on Facebook. They even see the memorial fundraisers set up around the town. They see the cars at the church for the funeral. And then a week or 2 later, everything happens all over again. Social media posts about the passing, the fundraisers being set up by the community, cars in procession. And this has happened to 4 different people in the community. She reiterates, only she and her family are the ones who seem to notice that this is happening. Her and her mother, her siblings, and her 2 children. She says she has no idea what's going on, but it's starting to freak them out. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have your own creepy story time, please submit it to the email in my bio.
Hello and welcome back to a series of spooky stories, The Haunted Tea Spill. Spooky shirt of the day is a fan fave ghost on a bookcase for obvious reasons. Super comfortable. It comes in one option, so you don't have to make any decisions. Only available in sweatshirts, only available in this color. It is size inclusive. We love that. If you want her, the link is right here. Now onto the story. Hi there. My story has actual witnesses besides me. My best friend of the past 34 years will back all of this up. My parents own a house that was built in 1850. We moved in when I was 15. It's 5,000 square feet of dark wood and secret stairs and hidden rooms. I bet that's creepy as fuck. But neat. but creepy. Very early on, we knew it was haunted. Lights flashing, sounds in empty rooms, things being moved around. The summer I turned 18, my best friend came to stay the whole summer. She had invited a mutual friend over to stay the night. I decided that this would be an opportune time to sneak out to see my boyfriend. You thought it would be the opportune time, huh? Around 12 a.m., I snuck out. I came back around 5 a.m. When I came back in the back door, my mom came hurrying down the steps and asked what I was doing. I told her I was hungry and just getting a snack. I'm a terrible liar. I could never. She said, "You must have been awoken by all the noise." I had no idea what she was talking about, but I didn't want her to know that I wasn't there. I ran up to my room where both my bestie and her friend were awake. They went on to tell me that not long after I left around 2 a.m., they woke up at the same time to see a lady in a long black dress standing at the edge of their bed. She disappeared, and then the lights in the entire house began to go on and off repeatedly for about 10 minutes. Then the smoke detectors on all 3 floors turned on, battery powered. Then everyone's alarm clocks went off simultaneously. Some were battery and some were plug-in. I'm fairly sure that the ghost lady was trying to get me caught. Now that's what you get for doing shit she ain't supposed to be doing. I went to bed and was about to fall asleep when I felt something cold touching my feet. When I opened my eyes, the lady in black was there. Well, what happened after that? Why would you not tell us what happened after that? Did you freak out? Did she say anything? I don't know. That's creepy as fuck. And also hilarious. Rated on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least scary, creepy, spooky, 10 being the most. If you have a story of your own that you want to submit, you can do so on the link tree in my profile. Do not forget to go follow me on the other stuff. We have a group chat over on the Book of Faces. If you want to be a part of it, follow me. I will see y'all at the next episode. Stay spooky, friends.
Y'all ain't gonna believe this story that happened in Ohio about an elderly woman who was a lunch lady at a middle school. She was just that sweet old lady everybody loved, grandmotherly, sweet, kind, the type of person that you wouldn't suspect anything from. Anyway, she made this chili. This chili was not just good. It was famous at the school, like the students could not get enough of it. They loved the chili. The students loved it so much that local restaurants wanted the recipe. The parents was obsessed. But it started to get weird when a few students noted odd pieces in their chili. Hard pieces that just did not belong there, like bones. That's when the students told their parents, and the parents just brushed it off because they were like, oh, it's probably just undercooked. Then more students started saying it started tasting like metallic. And around the same time, multiple different students in the same areas began disappearing. Nothing connected to the cafeteria or to the sweet old lady that served everybody lunch. That's when just one day, a janitor went into the kitchen, and what he found changed everything. Hidden behind spice shelves were garbage bags with names of each of the missing children. Alright, y'all know what the lunch lady put in that chili. Why did everybody love that chili? The strange bones, the metallic taste, should have told y'all. They loved the taste. But when they came to the parents and told them there's bones in the chili, y'all dismissed them.
I don't understand how some girls aren't scared of men, like, in public. Like, I'm such a scaredy cat. Like, I don't even know, well, I know why. But I went to the freaking nail salon, and it was kind of getting a little darker. And it was the only nail salon that was open, because all the nail salons close at 6. And then, I freaking, I'm about to walk in. And the nail salon is at a corner. So if I look to my left, it's like a whole street right there. There's these 2 guys. One has a bicycle. These 2 men, they see me. And I'm by myself. So immediately I'm like, okay, it's a good thing that this nail salon is open. Because I'm a little far from my car. I'm by myself. There's 2 men. The street is a little empty. I don't know what's going to happen. As soon as I seen them, I got nervous. As soon as they see me, they started whistling. They started whistling at me. Bro, my heartbeat. Some girls will be like, thanks. No, bro. Do you know what they're capable of? What the hell do you mean thanks? Immediately, I started just like mad dogging them. I feel like sometimes I could be like a guy. Like, I wish I could just shapeshift into a guy. Like, bro, like, I'm a whole guy. Like, don't even talk to me, bro. Like, I'm one of you.
A lot of you are really loving the Glitch in the Matrix stories, and I got another one for you. So this woman named Andrea says that something really strange is happening around her town, and her family are the only ones who seem to notice. The first thing they started noticing were duplicates. They would see someone somewhere, only for them to inexplicably turn up somewhere else. For example, her and her mother ran into an old friend at the grocery store and they stood there chatting with them for a while. But later when they got home that night, they saw on Facebook that that old friend was actually out of the country on vacation, and she had been for days. They even reached out to her and she has no recollection of speaking to them at the grocery store. She also says that she's taken duplicate phone calls where she would take a call that had already happened with this person and they have no recollection that that conversation already had happened. And then she says the scariest thing have been the deaths. She says there have been 4 deaths in their community of very well-known and influential people. And every one of them have died twice. First, they find out about their passing. They see all the rest in peace posts on Facebook. They even see the memorial fundraisers set up around the town. They see the cars at the church for the funeral. And then a week or 2 later, everything happens all over again. Social media posts about the passing, the fundraisers being set up by the community, cars in procession. And this has happened to 4 different people in the community. She reiterates, only she and her family are the ones who seem to notice that this is happening. Her and her mother, her siblings, and her 2 children. She says she has no idea what's going on, but it's starting to freak them out. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have your own creepy story time, please submit it to the email in my bio. I just came across this really weird story, and it's a short one, but I'm gonna read it word for word. And you can let me know what you think. It's from an anonymous person. They write, when I was about 7, I was home alone while my parents were out running errands. I wanted to get some sleep as that night we had a barbecue in the backyard. When I walked into my room, a sense of unease came over me, making me feel very uncomfortable. I got further into the room and it became darker and darker. When I switched the light on, the room appeared upside down for a good few seconds. I blinked repeatedly until it went back to normal. I brushed it off as nothing, but when my parents came home, I told them what happened, and they were confused too. That night, I felt so scared that I wet myself. Now here's the really creepy part. They write, as my mom came to help clean me up, I looked out the window and I saw my dad on the roof of the other house on all 4s, staring right back at me. They go, I was too scared to say anything back in case my mom was like that too. Like what too? Also, who leaves their 7-year-old home alone? I have so many questions. Let me know your thoughts in the comment. And if you have your own creepy story time, please submit it to the email in my bio. I would love to share it, and anonymously if you'd like. Listen to this creepy story, but not if you're laying in bed at night. This girl, Alicia, tells this story about her friend Estrella. Alicia says that she would describe herself as an open-minded skeptic, but her friend Estrella was a total non-believer until this happened to her. When Estrella was young, her and her family moved into a house, and her mother would sing to like nothing in these open, empty rooms all around the house. She was also talking to something in these rooms. Estrella said that she had never done that in previous homes, so she was really getting creeped out, and she confronted her mom about it. Her mom very casually just said there was a small little blonde girl that lived here, a little ghost girl, and she enjoyed when she'd sing and talk to her. So the kids would tease their mother about this, but she just kept doing it. So a while later, they moved again, and apparently this little ghost girl attached to their mother because once they got to the new house, she kept on doing this. So one night, Estrella was really mad at her mom. They were in a little bit of an argument earlier, and when her mom was singing to nothing in a room again, she finally got so mad, she went out and told her that she was stupid for thinking she was seeing somebody in the room. Real mean. Fast forward a little bit later, and in the middle of the night, Estrella was sleeping in her bed, and she bolted awake and just sat straight up, drenched in sweat. She immediately turned to look at her bedroom door, and standing in the doorway was a little blonde girl just staring at her. She said she wasn't like threatening or menacing or even doing anything, but she definitely wanted to make her presence known. Thanks, Mom, for bringing the ghost with you. If you have your own creepy story time, please submit it to the email in my bio, and if you haven't already done so, follow for more creepy story time.
We show them the older homestead? real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
It went to both.
Yeah.
Let this be a warning to never pick up anyone on the side of the road, no matter how defenseless they look. This story took place in the early 90s. Marissa and her 2 adult sons were traveling late one night. They were headed to Puerto Escondido in Osaka, Mexico. As they're driving in the middle of the night, mind you, this was before like self-service or any of that was a thing. They're driving through, they happen to see an old lady on the side of the road. The minute they see the old lady on the side of the road, Marissa feels extremely bad and tells her son to pull over to ask if the lady needs a ride or if she's okay. Her son, the one that's driving, automatically tells her, absolutely not, we're not stopping for anyone. I don't know who that old lady is. I don't trust her. Like, if she's out here, she's on her own. Marissa, like, very sternly pretty much tells her son, like, you're stopping. Like, we're stopping. I feel horrible. She should not be on the side of the road this late at night. So he very hesitantly pulls over. Marissa gets out of the car and goes over to the old lady and says, hey, are you okay? Like, what are you doing out here? Do you need a ride? The old lady responds, I do need a ride. I need to get home. I've been trying to get home and I haven't been able to make it. So Marissa tells her to get in the back seat and that they would give her a ride to wherever she lived. Her sons are definitely not happy about this, especially the one that's sitting in the back seat, because he's like, great, now I'm gonna have to sit next to this stranger that I don't even know like where she came from. As they're driving through, the lady in the back seat seems to be pretty polite with them, like she's making small talk. She's telling them about her husband is waiting for her and that she really needs to make it home and that she hasn't been able to, that she's been trying all night, but somehow she just hasn't been able to make it home. They continue to drive. Marissa kind of turns around and asks the old lady for her address. The old lady just tells her to keep driving, that she'll tell her where to turn. When they finally get to like a fork in the road type of situation, the old lady tells her to turn and to kind of go around the curve that her house was at the end of that road. As they go to make the turn and go around to get to where the old lady's house was, they notice that the house looks abandoned and it's like really old and like torn down. The old lady gets out and thanks them. Marissa feels some type of way, like she feels bad because this old lady is all by herself and she lives in this rundown house. But her son, before she even has a chance to even like get out of the car or like try to assess the situation, her son literally steps on the gas and leaves. He's like, my job is done. I dropped the old lady off. Like, I'm done. We're getting out of here. Like, let's go. They continue on. They make it to their destination, to where they were going on vacation. They stay there for a couple of days and then they start to head back, following that same road. On the way back, Marissa couldn't stop thinking about that old lady. She felt really bad and she wanted to stop by and get her like a little care package with like a bunch of like little groceries and just things to kind of give the old lady, because she just felt really bad seeing how the old lady was living. They stop. Her sons are pretty much like, why are you doing this? Like, just leave it alone. But Marissa's like, no, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna get this lady a care package and we're gonna drop it off at her house. They make it their way back. They remember exactly the turn they took when they dropped the old lady off. They took that same turn. They get to the end of the lot where the house should be and there's nothing there. The house is completely gone. All they see is a giant like wooden cross like on the ground, but there's no sign of a house. Like, everything's completely gone. They're confused, don't really know what to think of it, but they decide that they're just gonna like get back in the car, because what else can they do? As they're driving by, they stop at a nearby gas station. Marissa still has this in her head, and it's a small town, so when she gets in, she decides to ask them about an old lady that they had seen on the side of the road not far from that gas station. The minute she starts to talk about this old lady, the owner tells her, I know exactly who you're talking about. He begins to tell her that many people have seen her. She's always on the side of the road asking for rides, looking to make her way back to her husband. Apparently, she had passed away in a car accident while she was on her way to her husband. Not long after she passed away, her husband ended up passing away out of like a broken heart. Like, they had been together for so many years that when she passed away, he passed away from a broken heart, and then that house ended up being demolished. But since she passed away, many people have reported seeing her. She's like a wandering spirit that just continues to kind of like try to find her way home every night. Anytime that they see her like outside of the gas station, they typically just close the doors and they just like let her pass. But like, no one has done anything to try to help her like cross over. I definitely wouldn't stop for anyone on the side of the road just because I've seen some things. But I think in this instance, I definitely would like pray with her to try to help her cross over, because it's so sad that she continues to relive the same night over and over again and she never makes it home.
There's a theory in life that when we make major decisions, we create branching timelines. So like in one timeline, you could have stayed somewhere, and then one timeline, you could have moved away. And sometimes those timelines blur. So like when you experience deja vu, it's really one timeline coming in contact with another version of you in a different timeline. And they say that strangers recognizing you is proof that you lived that moment before, just in a different version of your life. Like you ever meet somebody and it feels like you've known them forever, or you get a strong connection to a person that you don't know that makes you feel like you want to know them. Like maybe that's because you already met them in a different timeline. You already knew them before. So like maybe you're not meeting them for the first time. Maybe you're meeting them again. Like, do y'all feel like that? Like you jump timelines every time you make a decision, and there's always a different timeline where you made the opposite decision of the one that you made that you're currently in?
This story is a prime example as to why you should never play with the Ouija board, because it will have serious consequences. The person who submitted this would like to be anonymous. For the sake of the story, we're going to call him Nate, his friend Josephine, and the other friend Kaylee. So Nate, Josephine, and Kaylee were always into scary stuff. They would always watch paranormal videos. They played Charlie multiple times and had played with the Ouija board multiple times and never had anything happen to them. So a few nights after Kaylee, Josephine, and Nate played with the Ouija board, Nate woke up to a bunch of missed calls from Kaylee. He actually sent me a screenshot of the messages, so I'll just put them right here. Essentially what the screenshot says is from Kaylee saying, "So I'm in the bathroom brushing my teeth and someone knocks on the door. Everyone's asleep except my mom, so I go out and I ask her why she knocks. She says she never did. She swore she never got up. I check on my gran and uncle and they're asleep too. So I go back to my room and I remember I need to fill up my water bottle. I walk to the kitchen and I kid you not, something starts knocking on the bathroom door again. I'm just standing there frozen, watching the bathroom door slowly open by itself. And being the brave idiot I am, I walk in and there's nothing. The bathroom is empty." This would only be the beginning. A couple nights later, Kaylee was in the kitchen making dinner when out of nowhere, the stove went on high on its own and her phone started blasting like loud music by itself. This went on for 3 nights. Every single night she would be in the kitchen doing something, this would happen. On the 3rd night, it just randomly stopped, like by itself. At first, they were all kind of laugh about it at school. They would try to make jokes about it and just kind of like downplay it, until one night Josephine texted them telling them that she had been paralyzed. And while she was paralyzed, from the reflection of the tile floors in her house, she saw a woman. Like she could see the reflection of a woman on the floor. She went from having like mild sleep paralysis to now she was constantly being like paralyzed non-stop. She would always see this woman in the corner of the house, like a specific corner of the house. They had cameras. Mysteriously, the camera that covered the corner of the house just stopped working on its own. Nate never took any of this seriously until it happened to him. I'm going to just read it word for word. "It was late one afternoon. I was home alone cooking when I heard slow footsteps behind me. Then a loud bang. The cupboard door slammed shut so hard that the sound echoed through the whole kitchen. My first thought was that someone had broken in. I grabbed a knife and went to check, but every room was empty. The air felt heavy, like something was standing right beside me, watching. I messaged Kaylee and Josephine right away. Even though I wasn't terrified, I felt unsettled. He feels this may be the reason why it didn't attack him as much, because he wasn't really giving it like the fear that the other 2 girls were giving it. But shortly after that, Nate noticed a pattern. This thing was moving from him to Kaylee to Josephine. It kept bouncing around the 3 of them, like scaring them all. A few nights later, Josephine woke up with deep scratches on her stomach. If anyone knows anything about like possession, that is a really bad sign. It means that something was getting ready to take over her body, essentially. That's when Nate knew that they needed to do something to get this to stop, because it was getting serious. For whatever reason, something told Nate to make a mixture of holy oil and salt and give it to Josephine. This worked, and whatever was attacking her stopped. Nothing has happened to them since then, but Nate does want to add that he's not going to end this with the usual, "This is why you should never mess with those games," because we didn't learn. Apparently, they still played with the Ouija board all the time. Just recently, something strange happened to Kaylee again, and it reminded me of this whole thing and how it started. So, once again, don't open doors that you may not be ready to close, or that you may not even know how to close. Playing with the Ouija board is essentially you opening a portal and allowing literally anything to come through. I highly don't recommend them.
What the fuck was that? Bro,
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
Am I the asshole for telling my father and his girlfriend that the gift she got me was creepy and invasive? I'm expecting my first child, due in February. This is the first grandchild on both sides, so everyone is very excited about it. My father's girlfriend, Lena, and I have an okay relationship, but we're very different people. I don't like most of the things that she likes and vice versa. There's no bad blood between us, but she can be a bit pushy sometimes, so we're not exactly close. One of the biggest differences between me and Lena is our stance on influencer culture. She loves it, and I don't. Since I got pregnant, she's been sending me posts on Instagram of random influencers talking about their experience with childbirth, motherhood, etc. A few months ago, one of her favorite influencers gave birth and filmed the whole thing. She posted a cutesy, poorly edited video of the baby being born and her entire family watching from outside the delivery room, with country music playing in the background. Lena sent me that video, and I remember telling her that I'd never do something like that. My husband and I celebrated Christmas at my cousin's place with the rest of the family. When it was time for us to exchange and open our gifts, Lena gave me an envelope. Inside was a videographer's business card. She told me she was hiring him to film my birth. I seriously cannot imagine being filmed while going through a medical procedure, and I don't want anyone besides my husband at the hospital with me. I've been clear about that since I announced my pregnancy, and I didn't want to embarrass Lena, so I thanked her when she gave me the card. Yesterday, my husband and I had lunch with her and my father, and I told her that while I appreciated the gesture, I didn't feel comfortable with the videographer. I said she didn't have to get me anything else for Christmas, but I'd appreciate it if she didn't hire him. Both she and my father got offended, and we ended up having an argument. At one point, Lena started crying and said she couldn't understand why I'd pass up at the opportunity of creating such a beautiful memento of my child's birth. I replied that I found the idea of having someone film me during such a vulnerable moment to be creepy and invasive, and that this wasn't the first time I expressed that I was uncomfortable with it. My father said that it was rude of me to say that and to refuse the gift, and he's very disappointed in me. My husband agrees with me, as does pretty much my whole family. I don't really think I did anything wrong, but my father's reaction is freaking me out. Am I the asshole?
One of our creepy Storytime family members, Roxanne, sent this story in to me, and I am beyond intrigued. This is one of my favorites so far, and now I'm going to share it with you. So Roxanne saw one of my other videos that talked about somebody's dream experience of the end of days, and it prompted her to share this one with us. But this isn't just one dream. This is something that occurs a lot. She's been having these dreams occasionally up until this day, and it has been going on for years. Every time Roxanne has this dream, she's always in this same town in another country. She says she doesn't know what the country is, but it is gorgeous. Simply beautiful, an idyllic place to be. She says there's a mountain in the background, rolling green fields, and a port for fishing. All of the houses and buildings she describes as brightly colored and just beautiful. Says where it starts to get weird is the people in this town know her, but only in her dreams. And I'll be more specific. Things like they'll make comments about how long it's been since the last time she's been in that dream. They'll even pick up conversations where they were left off the last time she dreamt, and they'll fill her in on things that have happened there since the last time she's dreamt of that place. She also says there's a building that's nearby to the town that has a big red door, and it is very known that you do not open that door. Roxanne also says that the townspeople tell her that sometimes between dreams that strangers will come there and try to open this door. This causes total panic, and they say that it's getting harder and harder to keep these strangers from coming and opening this door. They tell her that they need her help, but she only dreams this place randomly, and they can't predict when she'll be back for them to come up with a plan for her to help them. They're concerned because they don't know when she's going to pop in and how long she'll even be able to stay. She says some people that she tells speculates and said maybe it's her subconscious suppressing memories, and maybe that's the evil that's hiding behind the door. Or others say maybe she's dreamwalking into another existence. It's just so awesome that she has people who know her only in her dreams, and they know that they only know her in her dreams. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please share if anything like this has ever happened to you. I think it's fascinating. And Roxanne is going to be in the comments to see what you have to say. And if you have your own creepy story time, please don't forget to submit it to the email in my bio.